Cheers! Welcome to Movie Bitches. We have a very special guest, Orion. I feel like I'm forgetting that.
Well, I keep wanting to say Oren for various reasons.
Oren. Oren. Is that part of it?
No, that's different, right?
I didn't know if you had any inspiration in your name of like Orion.
It's really funny because when the cast was announced, everyone was like, "Is it a pun? Is it a pun? What does it mean?" Everyone was thinking origin story.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
I also got Deja calls me Omarion. I've gotten Orion.
Well,
literally
I just think of
Orion.
the production company.
Yeah, Orion,
right, like,
the movies.
There's a lot of companies with Orion, and I'm just like, listen, I don't want to say that I'm a trailblazer or anything, but
I love
that's
it.
exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, cheers. RetroReview episode 59, The NeverEnding Story. Oh, I just did that to your face. I'm sorry.
That's why you're like.
The NeverEnding Story.
So this was a fun little serendipitous moment. We were inspired
Yes.
by Orion's fabulous Luck Dragon Neon.
Boa, Pink Panther, Steven, we've been told, is
Steven.
his
Yes,
given
Steven.
name.
Yeah, I didn't get to show my puppets off on the show. We were gonna do like a giant back piece, and it's gonna be a giant monster, like
Ooh.
a Vegas showgirl kind of thing. But then I was like, no, I'm just gonna do a puppet. And then
I love it.
I watched a lot of like furry tutorials to make like the head and stuff, but
Great.
I've never made anything that big, and I made it a lot bigger than I anticipated making it. It takes up 2 suitcases.
Well, you should be proud of yourself. That was awesome.
It really was. And in the words of Nicole Byer, I'd say you nailed it.
Oh my God, I think you nailed it.
But first things first.
Yes. Shout out to our Patreon supporters. $5 a month gets you early access. $10 gets you access to our viewing parties. Brian and I had an edible and watched this, and I would recommend.
That's the perfect way to.
It really was the
unless
right way.
it might bring you back to a.
It's the only way to watch it.
Honestly, I will say, but I mean, we'll get into it in a moment. But it, longer, slower paced than I remembered as a child.
All children, when you go back and watch the children's films of the 80s, you're like, what? This is paced so differently than movies today.
Yes.
I think it was to lull us into nap time, and you know.
Maybe, but yeah, the edible really accentuated that. Where it's like this scene is going on forever, and it's just him.
There's so many scenes in the movie that just like drag on, and it's funny because I just love the fact that this movie is so dry. Like the humor is so dry, but like when you're high watching it, it just makes it so much funnier.
A delicious-looking limestone rock. Nice bouquet.
That is,
this movie is honestly an emotional roller coaster.
It's a roller coaster. I mean, it's very German.
Yes, it's very German.
I mean, it's a German production company.
Definitely, I think it fits the mold of a lot of like cheesy 80s sci-fi movies where it's like, kind of like Willy Wonka or something, where it's like the kid finds this weird, eccentric old man, and it's like it's bullied, nobody understands him. Like it's like it's so cheesy in the best way possible.
That bookstore owner, we can get.
We will get into it.
Was it cilantro?
Mr. Coriander?
Oh, yes, I remember now. Missed it by that much.
Second thing second, shout out to our wine sponsor, Wink, and also Orion sponsor, Wink.
Wink, W-Y-N-K.
Love it. Third things third, make sure to subscribe, share, follow us and Orion on Instagram and Twitter and all of those good things. Do you have a website?
I do. It's theorionstory.com.
Love it.
So, NeverEnding Story, the 1984 children's classic that officially, I think I don't know anyone that wasn't permanently damaged by watching this as a child.
I mean, I don't know if I was damaged. Obviously, there's moments that, yeah. I definitely loved this movie. Although I think now, you posted that story of...
We watched NeverEnding Story 2 as well, which is much more 90s.
Yeah, that chicken person really,
it really got in there.
Something in my brain. I was like, oh God, I remember this. Trauma.
Yes. Well, and it has a drag queen as a villain, essentially.
Love it.
I am Zaida. This is my castle.
It's been so long since I've seen the second one. I honestly think that I just blocked it out of my memory. And I think
You're
that's probably
you're
for a
fine.
reason.
You're fine.
I'm still traumatized by the first one. And I just watched it this morning. I'm still traumatized.
Did I cry when Artax drowned? Yeah, I did. I cried.
The quicksand scene makes me
Just-
cry every single time.
Inconsolable.
Oh, you know what
Again.
was weird for me in this viewing,
Huh.
and maybe it was the edible, I don't know, but it seems so much darker and bleaker in that, like, you know that the horse is giving in to sadness.
Yes. That it's so depressed and the sadness is overcoming it that it is giving up on life.
Yeah.
And
That's so much darker than
so
just
much-
thinking.
The entire
Exactly.
movie, there's so many nuances that like you don't understand until you're much older.
Yeah.
Like especially with a lot of like old school classic movies you watch back. It just
Yes.
like there's so many like little nuances and things throughout the movie that it's just like, dang, that's deep.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was
It hurts different.
truly.
It does hurt different.
hurts,
Well, it's
it
like,
hurt
yeah,
different.
'cause
It did.
when you're a kid, you're sad that, like, they're sinking into the...
Oh no, that horse died. I mean, they would
Yeah.
never make this
No.
movie today. And
No.
if they did it, they would cut away.
Also, it looked like a real horse in the mud.
Well,
I'm
there
sure the
is
horse
a-
didn't die, but like...
There's like a old wives' tale, whatever conspiracy theorist that the horse died, and it did not.
Okay, good.
It's been like that was
Okay, good.
that was debunked.
But it seemed traumatic for that horse.
Well, yeah, nowadays it would
They
just
would
be
CGI.
it would be a CGI horse.
Although we can't talk about the CGI in this movie though, because it's absolutely fantastic.
Well, there is.
Well,
none.
there isn't really any.
I mean, it's all matte paintings and
It's
And-
the green
and
screen.
practical.
But that's
The
the
green
thing is,
screen.
I love
Yeah.
those movies from that era because, especially like movies like The Labyrinth and like The Dark
Oh,
Crystal,
yeah.
they don't rely on a lot of CGI. Like everything happens like on set, and which I love, especially with the
Yeah.
puppets and everything. Like everything is
Absolutely.
so articulated. That's like why I'm so attracted to those movies. It's just like
Oh my
everything
God.
is
Yeah.
so like creative, and there's so many hands and people like working on it.
it's tactile. You
Yes.
can feel it, and I
Yeah.
think that really helps with kid actors.
And it looks
Because
so
they can
much better
actually-
on camera because it's like the quality isn't as good, but like it just has such more of like an impact than like CGI. You know what I
presence.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I wrote down a lot of notes about the big scene at the Ivory Tower with the UN of
Oh, I know, right?
creatures. Oh my God. So, but NeverEnding Story.
Yes.
If you haven't seen it, go watch it.
Yeah.
You
I
might be
wonder how it
traumatized,
became that movie that like every kid did watch.
I think it did much better on home video
Mm.
once it came over. It was the most expensive movie production outside of the US at that point.
Wow.
So it like funded, not through the US. And it didn't do well until later.
Interesting. Interesting.
And the theme song, I think,
Oh.
was added for the US release, I want to believe. Or something
Really?
like that. Like it was
Really? I didn't-
a little more techno. Like they added some more fun.
Here's a fun, weird thing. This like Mandela effect or something. So the theme
I
song
have
comes
one.
on.
I have one for this too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so the theme song goes on. It was like, oh, Brian's like, oh, gotta love some Erasure.
Look at what you see.
It's
no,
not
it's
Erasure.
not. Yeah.
But if you like Google it, there's
Yeah.
like dozens of things of like lyrics for Erasure's NeverEnding Story. There's like this weird.
Did they do a cover?
collective? No.
Okay.
It never existed. Just so many people think it was Erasure.
It's by a band called Limahl.
Yeah, Limahl or something.
Limahl.
Yeah.
I didn't know them.
I don't either.
I didn't know
Yeah,
them.
but it is
didn't-
great. The never-ending story. And apparently, there's no end or beginning to the song. It fades in and fades out.
It's never ending.
So it's a never-ending song.
This is the song that doesn't end. Yes, it goes on and on, my friend.
That's enough, guys.
I had a Mandela effect with this movie. I had misremembered that the Childlike Empress was somehow Thora Birch.
Oh.
I think I'm conflating it with the terrible Dungeons and Dragons movie where she's wearing a similar headpiece and it's like a Queen Amidala situation.
Yeah.
I'm in front of all these, delegates and whatever. So, but I was wrong. It's
And that
not.
so it wasn't in the second one either. There's no.
I thought maybe.
Okay, yeah,
No,
no.
it's a different actress, but they did give her a terrible perm.
Oh.
So there's
Yeah.
that.
I forgot about her until the end of this movie when it
She's
was like-
barely in it.
Well, right, but I was like, oh god, this was visually so
Yeah.
distinctive in my brain.
Yeah. Well, we can talk about the director a little bit.
Okay.
Wolfgang Petersen directed this, who's famously before this directed Das Boot.
Oh wow.
So it makes a lot of sense. I mean, it doesn't make sense that like he did Air Force One, he did In the Line of Fire,
Huh.
he did all these big actiony
Right.
movies, right? And then there's this sort of anomaly there. but there's so much in it that is super dark and fucked up and not, so it makes sense, but it's wild to think.
That is, but that's also like
there is a lot of action in the movie though, so I definitely can see it.
Mad Max that also did
George Miller?
Yeah.
Oh, that also did Babe
Pig in the City.
and Happy Feet. They have a range, which strangely enough, George T. Miller directed NeverEnding Story 2. I don't know. Weird.
Oh, there you go.
I was like, I didn't see the T at first. I was like, what the fuck? I didn't. Oh, no. Different person.
Mad Max, NeverEnding Story 2, Babe in the City. Yeah, I could see that trajectory. No.
When the bullies throw him in the dumpster and he comes out, he's not covered in trash, but he's like covered in hay for some reason. Like, they just seem so out of place for me.
There was also a weird, I guess, throwaway line or whatever that, like, one of them, I think after they put him in there, they're like, he could lay an egg in there or something.
Maybe the chicken could lay an egg in there.
Maybe the hay was intentional.
Exactly. It was like, it was a trash can that happened to be filled with hay.
Well, the opening scene with his dad is devastating.
Yeah. Very German.
Very German. Again, there's like no music.
I had another dream, Dad. About Mom.
I'm just going to make this orange juice and raw egg smoothie while we don't talk about our feelings about your dead mom.
Whatsoever.
Nothing.
It's just basically like,
sorry about it.
Mom's dead. Like, okay.
She's dead. Get over it. I mean, God. It was really...
You have to get back to work.
We have to get on with things, right?
It's just like everyone in this kid's life just hates him or something. Like,
hates him.
Yeah.
I understand because I relate to being on Drag Race.
Oh.
I didn't feel like everyone hated me, but I understand. I feel like everyone at some points in their life have moments where they're like, everyone misunderstands me, So it's like, I mean, especially as a kid, you're like, people don't understand me, when you're going through that angst phase. So it's like, it's kind of reminiscent to watch the movie. You can relate a little bit, but it still doesn't change the fact that this movie's really fucked up.
Oh, no. I mean, there is sort of like Bastian's just a sensitive boy. I mean, it's very just like...
The wishing well for sensitive boys.
It's very, it's very that.
On days when he's had too much, he'll lean on it and contemplate his reflection. Some kids like to play. Others just sort of wait for adulthood.
Okay, so can we get into the bookstore of it all? And
yeah.
Mr. Coriander, I think is his name.
Mr. Coriander?
Oh my God, I think you nailed it.
Get out of here. I don't like kids.
I don't like kids, but I'm going to manipulate you into stealing this book.
Yeah.
Here we just sell small rectangular objects. They're called books. They require a little effort on your part. On your way, please.
I know books.
I guess he passed the test, right? He knows what books are. He's read all of these other books.
He's like, no, I have 186 at home.
Here's all the books that I've read.
Treasure Island, Last of the Mohicans, Wizard of Oz, Lord of the Rings, 20,000 Leagues.
But then he doesn't say, great, Charlie, you passed the test.
Right.
Here's my chocolate factory. He's like, I'm going to leave the book alone and then smile wistfully off into the distance that you've stolen it. It was just like weird. And in the second movie, it's the same thing. He like eggs him on into stealing it. And I was like, what is this? What is this?
No, Bastion.
Because he's in the second movie too.
Oh, interesting.
The dad comes, it's a different actor. The dad comes and is like, my son has been missing for 2 days. And he's just like,
my son's missing since last night. When did you last see him?
Maybe you'll find the explanation for your son's disappearance inside.
And then the guy comes back in the afternoon. The bookshop is cleared, empty, no one's there.
That sounds like one of those mattress stores that's like laundering money.
Oh my God, right,
Yes.
exactly. Can we speak about the disappearance of it all, though? Because I was just like, I'm sorry, what now? This child
just gone.
spends the entire school day in this attic that they just leave the keys up to? They're just like, oh, someone broke that box. Let's
It's
keep
like
them there.
nobody's questioning it. Nobody's looking for him.
I read the book, and there is a bit of business about, I think he was friends with the janitor or something. They do something, but yes, it is.
Okay. But then also it's like, the school's over, and rather than just go home and read his book at home.
Well, home is not a safe place for him, Andrew.
I guess so.
Bastian, you're old enough to get your head down out of the clouds and start keeping both feet on the ground, right?
Speaking about how he's a sensitive boy,
Okay.
he does have an attaché case that he brings to school. It's rough.
It was a different time. We didn't
just
have,
like carrying-
It was before wheelie backpacks.
Yeah, yeah. Coloring in his character.
Yes. Yeah, I wonder what does little Bastian grow up to be?
A dreamer or an accountant?
I think that he becomes the old man at the bookstore.
Oh, for sure.
It's like a cycle. It's like a cycle.
Yes.
Yeah, because here, okay, a question. At the end, there's narration. From who?
Is there?
Bastian made many other wishes and had many other amazing adventures.
It was like, and that was Bastian's story, and now he goes on.
It wasn't Falkor?
No, it wasn't Falkor. It might have been the bookshop owner, or it was like adult Bastian telling the next kid.
I assumed it was the bookshop owner, but...
It could be.
Maybe we'll play it and see if it's the same voice.
Oh, this is something special.
But that's another story.
So the first movie is technically the first half of the book only. And so they had to sort of fudge an ending and be like, he came back and chased bullies down the street on a luck dragon, and then those kids were emotionally and psychologically damaged for the rest of their lives.
We're gonna you guys.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's great. In the book, he just stays there the whole time. So like when it ends and him and the Childlike Empress are, it's a wish. You have to start the world anew.
Right.
Bastian.
Yeah.
The whole second half of the book is him recreating Fantasia, and then he sort of becomes like a maniacal, power-hungry, warmongering.
Oh, no.
Yes, it's very interesting.
Yeah, and that makes sense now, because when I was watching the movie, there's a lot of little things that I was like, I feel like we're missing something. What happened up until this point?
The rock eater.
Rock biter.
Yeah.
Oh, can we talk about this scene? I mean, because get into it. These effects. The rock biter on his, what are those where you like pave roads,
Yeah, like a steamroller?
Like Who Framed Roger Rabbit or Fish Called Wanda.
Yeah, or Austin Powers.
Steamrollers are sort of the most comical vehicles.
Yes, aside from a clown car, perhaps.
That'll be in the third movie.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
But we've got the bat guy
Yeah.
and the snail guy.
Yep.
That actor is Deep Roy.
Oh.
He's the guy that most famously, I guess, was the Oompa Loompas in the new Tim Burton movie.
Oh.
But he was in Return to Oz. Talk about fucked up
Yeah.
childhood memories.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That's the head changing one.
She changes heads out whenever she wants. Oh my God. He was the Tin Man in that, where he was Yoda.
Oh.
Not obviously the voice. He's in this great movie called Freaked with Alex Winter that I don't think anyone has seen.
Yeah.
But... So, have you seen Freaked?
I have.
Oh, it's so good. Talk about special effects. Oh my God. Holy shit.
Love it. Well, I haven't watched it. But...
It's maybe the most 90s movie ever.
Great.
It might be.
We better find a limo right now before these whale kissers chop us up and sell us for parts.
It's just...
hard 90s.
Hard 90s.
Okay.
It was actually fascinating watching the first NeverEnding Story and how 80s and European it felt, and then watching the other one and how 90s and American it felt.
Interesting.
It was sort of like, okay, the subtle differences in colors and...
We can't let Mom's death be an excuse for not getting the old job done.
Yeah.
Music choices.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I love that every single character in this movie is just so dry.
Yes.
Like,
So
everything
dry.
is just so dry. I have so many quotes written down. It's like, did the lake dry up? No, it just wasn't there.
Did the lake dry up?
No, it just wasn't there anymore.
A hole?
A hole would be something. No, it was nothing.
The lines just make me laugh so hard. I love dry humor. And I think this movie is definitely one of the reasons why my humor is so dry. I feel like that's so 80s to just be so just like matter of factual.
Particularly around children. I think that adds another layer to it. Like...
The way that they talk to him is just, none of that would fly today.
Oh,
no.
I love children.
Oh my God,
children.
right?
I like children.
Come scratch me behind my ear,
Yeah,
little boy. I mean, it's very Big Bad Wolf,
It is very Big Bad Wolf. But also a lot of the conversation I feel like is adult. Like it's not like
It's not dumbed down.
not dumbed down for kids.
And you can
just
tell
like,
he doesn't understand any of it.
Well, a little bit, yeah, that's
all.
true.
Everything just goes right over his head. So like, so what'll happen to Fantasia? Oh, it'll die.
If you fail, the Empress will surely die.
and our whole world will be utterly destroyed.
It will no longer exist.
Okay.
In the book, Atreyu has green skin.
Oh.
And they tried it in the movie and were like, this isn't gonna work.
Well, green skin on a green screen is definitely
it's not gonna work. But yeah, in the book he has green skin and their whole society, he's like a great hunter, he's a super good marksman and all these things. So yeah, when they're like, oh, you can't bring any of that and you're on your own. It was like, it is wild.
Yeah, that is.
You must go alone. You must leave all your weapons behind.
And also why? I don't know. We never will.
You know, he has to learn how to make do with just himself. Can we talk about the UN scene, for lack of a better
Oh, yes.
word?
It was also very Star Warsy, but yes.
Well, apparently, if you freeze it at the right time, you can see like a C-3PO and an R2 and a Mickey Mouse.
Oh my God. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Apparently, that is the case. But like these big stone-faced people.
Yeah, those were cool.
And those weird multi-faced, like, quarter-turned faces. Those all look so great. And there's that really long-necked bird guy that looks like a Raznak from Aragon.
Yeah.
It's like,
I feel like
geek.
there are a lot of like fun drag inspiration looks in this group of weird Fantasia people.
I'd be into it.
Yeah, that's a runway challenge. It's just
do a NeverEnding Story character.
So which one's your favorite character in the home movie?
Falkor.
Okay. I personally love the slug.
Oh yeah,
love him.
Yeah,
slug.
he's a racing slug.
A racing slug.
Favorite scene in the whole movie has I don't know why has always been when The Rock hits it in the head and he's like, oh, poor baby.
Oh.
Oops, sorry.
Poor baby.
I love the scene with Shell Mountain with the big turtle when he's just like, time, who cares? Death?
Die? That at least would be something.
What exists?
I mean,
time is infinite.
It's such a weird movie.
The Empress is terribly ill. I don't care.
Don't you care about that?
We don't even care whether or not we care.
Yeah, okay, great. Not my problem.
Yeah.
Fuck. Everyone's filled with ennui.
Ennui, right. No one gives a shit.
Nothing matters.
Atreyu gives all his weapons, takes nothing except his horse. His horse dies in the saddest scene of a children's movie I've ever seen.
Yep.
He is despondent.
Brave Little Toaster, I don't know.
Oh, Brave Little Toaster's rough. Fox and the Hound is rough. But anyway, he's at the deepest, darkest point in his life. He finally reaches Shell Mountain, the thing that's supposed to say, I don't care. Get out of here, fucking kid.
Yeah.
Actually, we don't care.
I'm gonna send you away in this windstorm. Like, it is crazy.
Yeah, doesn't the shell relish the idea of death?
Yeah, he's like, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I've been alive too long.
Yikes.
I hope Fantasia dies. He's over it.
Bleak.
Didn't Atreyu really look like Anna Kendrick? Or am I just imagining things? Like,
Ooh,
their faces.
And that long, luscious hair.
The long, luscious hair. Something about it, I was like, wait a minute.
So, quick commercial break, and we will be back with a lot more Falkor.
So much more Falkor.
Atreyu!
He's kind of creepy.
You were unconscious, and you talked in your sleep.
He's the bookstore owner, guys. He is the bookstore owner. No? Right? I love children. Come and get into my
But the
cave.
bookstore owner hated children.
But like that grooming,
so
the groomingness of both of them is Bastian is representing. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll get into it. We're gonna get into it.
Never give up, and good luck will find you.
He is on the best edibles. I mean, he's very like, hey, everything's great.
He's a luck dragon. Everything is great.
I'm a luck dragon. Don't even worry about it.
I think that's why it's so easy to connect with him, because you're just like saying.
With luck.
One of my other favorite lines in the movie is when he's like, don't worry, you'll reach Fantasia. And he's like, you know how to get there? I have no idea. He's like, no, I don't know.
No.
This location where we find him.
Yes.
He wakes up in Falkor's arms.
Yes.
And it's just sort of space.
Cloudy space land.
This whole scene has such a weird vibe to it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's interesting, like their use of clouds is so extensive, but also like it creates such a vibe. It's really successful for me.
It has a whole tone and a look, and it's quite beautiful. And like, yes, the green screen could be better, but having a physical Falkor and having it be real clouds that they're rear projecting, to my eye, looks more realistic and engaging than all CGI.
It also just feels like, because they're trying less hard to make it feel actually real.
Right, it's more of a fantasy.
Exactly. Like my brain doesn't get angry. Whereas like when I look at some of the recent CGI stuff and I'm just like, well, this looks stupid. Like, it doesn't look real, and it doesn't look like it's artistic. It just looks like it's a close approximation of what reality is.
Well, and I can't connect with it emotionally because it's not real. Where Falkor, this puppet, he seems tangible and real, and I can take a leap of faith. That he's a real little luck dragon.
We didn't talk about when the turtle keeps sneezing him off of that tree. That was really making me laugh.
You were having a great time.
It was just so stupid. It was just over and over again. It was like really repeating the bit. But I liked it.
The little tiny people that are guarding knows how to get through the.
Oh my God! Brian was like, "Oh, imagine if it was Carol Kane and Billy
Crystal."
Billy Crystal.
There's no fool like an old fool. Wait, to the witch.
I like the idea that they just have those roles recurringly in different kids movies. That would be great.
I would watch all of that.
All of them.
Yeah.
He doesn't realize he's already a part of the NeverEnding Story. They can't be talking about me.
Clap, Bastion, clap if you believe in Tinkerbell. Fantasia, clap.
If you believe, wherever you are, clap your hands and she'll hear you. Clap! Clap! Don't let Tink die! Clap!
Believe in us, Bastion.
Okay, can we talk about this? Say her name.
Moonchild.
I honestly was like, what's the name? I have no idea.
You have no clue.
I had no idea what he said. I just would be very curious to know how many, mothers of, were Moonchild, but.
What do you mean?
Like, it was his mom's name. You missed that?
My mother. She had such a wonderful name.
It was?
He says, oh, I have the perfect name. My mom had such a beautiful name. That's the name that I would do.
That's so dumb.
Well, and so then it was like, I think it was supposed to be catharsis, right? Emotionally,
Maybe
of getting rid of the sadness by putting it out. Oh, now he's saving Fantasia by naming it after his mother. But his mother was apparently named Moonchild?
Maybe she was in some kind of hippie cult. I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't
feel
know.
like there's layers to this that we're missing out on. Like I said, I need more context.
And the Childlike Empress.
Oh, yeah.
I remember this so incredibly vividly.
So vivid.
I guess the actress had recently lost her 2 front teeth, and so she was wearing prosthetics, and that's why she has that lispy kind of dreamy vibe or whatever. Bastion. But it really adds to what's going on.
Yeah.
Bastion.
She had a flipper.
I think she did, and when you look, you're like, oh yeah.
Oh.
You can kind of see it.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, she was pretty iconic.
Oh, very.
Because I hadn't watched this movie in probably 20 years. And
I thought her acting was really good, too.
Yeah.
She was great.
She gave a lot of emotion.
I thought it was Thora Birch. She was great.
She probably gave the most emotion out of anyone in the whole movie.
Absolutely.
I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Certainly more than the dad.
No, yeah. It probably goes Empress, Falkor, and then I don't know.
Atreyu.
Artax, maybe.
Artax, Atreyu, Orion.
Okay, now question for you, because you just watched the second one.
Yes.
Does it come apart at some point?
No.
Okay, for some reason in my head it came.
But I'm remembering some movie where there's 2 pieces of a cylinder that have. And they break, and it's almost a yin and yang situation.
Yes.
And they break apart.
And that wasn't this, though. Because they were silver and gold, but not in the book. But then I couldn't figure it out. I had a vague recollection
and now
of
I'm wait, is it Indiana Jones with the top of the... But it's not.
Okay.
I feel like I know what you're talking about, but it was not 2.
Okay, great.
From my recollection.
And they were snakes, because they were eating them or whatever.
They were snakes,
yeah,
but
then they didn't come apart and
He's
put together.
wishing through the whole movie, every wish he loses a memory, And this the evil witch drag queen is just like, I'm stealing your memories so I can, rule Fantasia. And she's just walking around in gowns with like fuck off shoulder pads, and you're just like, yes, I'm rooting for her. Can she run Fantasia?
So now, is he then in Fantasia and not in the human world?
So in this one, they basically start the movie over again. It's breakfast time, but this time it's wacky. He keeps knocking over everything, and my dad's gonna be mad at me. It's like very silly kids movie suddenly.
Huh.
And then he goes back to the bookstore and is like, I want to read it again, Mr. Coriander. And he's like, no, you have to steal it. And then I'm going to wistfully be like, haha, I did it again. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, the dad has to believe too. He has to believe in Fantasia.
So it's Hook.
Yes, it's very much Hook. And the dad keeps saying, I'm an engineer. What I see is what I see.
Look, I'm an engineer. What I see is what I see when I see it.
Look, I'm an engineer, all right? What I see is what I see.
Okay.
He says it multiple times.
Wow.
You're like, okay.
I think this is how cults start.
Moonchild!
Moonchild! I honestly was just like, what now? What's her name? I didn't catch that. Could you say it again? I don't know.
Yeah!
NeverEnding Story. Yeah!
Oh, and the morgue, the creepy wolf.
If you come any closer, I will rip you to shreds.
He jumps on him and then it lays on him for like 20 minutes before he just pushes him off. It's just like,
no.
It doesn't even really show him like attacking him. He's just laying
Get
on him.
out of here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna attack you even though I've seen you wield this knife thing and just, okay.
Because if I'm remembering in the book, he is manacled to something, the wolf, and he can't get himself out, and they just have a long conversation about how, well, if I free you, you'll eat me, but if I agree to free you, and there's like this whole kind of moral dilemma going on because he's gonna die because the nothing is coming, and he can't leave, but Atreyu could leave, and it's this whole long. See, they didn't use it in the movie.
I mean,
I get it, but
yeah, that is interesting.
I remember this scene terrifying me as a child.
I get that. I get that.
The eyes and the teeth.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and talking about his dead mother and grief and the nothingness.
It was rough.
This, I miss kids' movies like approaching and bringing up a lot of emotional issues.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, what do pets do while we're gone?
Everything's nice. Oh, don't upset the children.
Right.
Let's not talk about even the lighter end of movies like the Goonies and stuff. Like they find a fucking skeleton and like death is a real thing and they're processing it as children, and that's, I think, an important lesson to learn.
Yeah.
Why is Fantasia dying then?
Because people have begun to lose their hopes and forget their dreams.
Dreams are dead.
And I was like,
little boy. It was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
People who have no hopes are easy to control. Whoever has the control has the power.
It really is very dark.
Very dark. Very bleak. It was like that. The turtle just being like, meh.
Yeah.
Death would be a welcome relief at this point. You're like, wow. Okay. The horse that essentially kills itself, you're just like,
it's true. The horse really does. I mean,
it's
gives
just like,
up on life.
Yeah, I'm too sad. I'm just going to give up. And like, even you expressing your love for me and like, nope, not enough to break the sadness. I'm just like, this is heavy and
I'm getting
bleak.
sad. I'm like getting sad talking about it.
Well, don't fall into the swamp then, please.
I know, right? The swamp of sadness is taking over.
Yeah. Now, I was confused about, like, he was clearly very sad, Atreyu. Why didn't that swamp affect
Orin? Because Orin protected him.
Oh, is that in the book?
It's in the book.
Oh, okay, great. So if he only had known, then he could have put Orin around the horse.
Yeah, well, wouldn't that be a different movie? Somehow, every time I still think maybe this time he's gonna fight back against that depression and get out of there. Oh no!
But he does show up in the new Fantasia.
He did, and he was in the second movie. Atreyu is riding on his horse to get to a location, and Bastian is riding Falkor to get to a location. And obviously, Atreyu shows up later because he was on a horse, and he's like,
Atreyu, we were getting worried about you. What took you so long?
God, Atreyu, where were you? We've been waiting. And I was like, bitch, you're riding a luck dragon. Get out of here. Like, what's happening? But they really do make Bastian the villain in the second movie.
Interesting.
Like, he's a real asshole.
Yikes.
Which was the case in the book, so it made sense.
Well, I mean, he has a lot going on.
A lot going on. And, he saves Fantasia,
Yeah.
Moonchild, and then
Moonchild.
gets, revenge on his bullies, and
Yep.
close that chapter. We're done.
And then the narrator, I'm telling you, I can't believe you didn't notice that. I was like...
Bastian made many other wishes and had many other amazing adventures.
Out of nowhere.
I might have, but because there isn't one in the beginning.
No,
It's
that's
not
why I was like, oh, all of a sudden they decided to have a narrator.
And it's not
Okay.
Moonchild being
No.
like, and Bastion has
Right,
whatever. No.
Yeah, no. It was like, and that was Bastion's story. And then I was like, what? Sure.
Everything about the ending is just so abrupt.
It very quickly just like,
was,
and over.
It's like, we're running out of
evident.
budget. Let's just end it.
Yeah.
It was, yes, very that. I do vividly remember as a child, like, fantasizing about being taken into a book because of
Sure.
this. Like, oh, I want to go. Like, I would just go and hang out in the library because it was, like, magical.
Yeah.
Because of this movie.
Because I love that this movie really does promote like children reading. Because I mean, he does get bullied for being the type of person who reads.
Right.
But
relatable.
then it becomes really cool because of the movie. So like, that it's like a cool thing.
Go to the library, find some creepy old man, and
Get
steal
some
a book.
books. Steal some books from him so he can, yes, Bastion, go.
Or I love the scene when like it gets really tense and he, instead of just shutting the book, just gets up and just throws it across the attic like, as hard as he could. It's like, oh my gosh. It was, I mean, that was probably my edible, but I was like, this is very aggressive.
Very aggressive. Very aggressive. Yeah. I mean, there were so many weird things happening in that attic.
There was the set design, you'd be like, there's a skull.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There's some like
There was an entire skeleton. And I'm like, where is this skeleton?
Like, looking at all the props and stuff in the attic, I was like, why are these in a school attic? Like this just is like an attic in like Goosebumps or something.
Yeah,
like, it
very
seems so, like,
Goosebumps.
intentionally.
Very Hello Mary Lou, Prom Night 2, Hello Mary Lou.
Yes, very like.
Why is this
Yeah.
stuff here? I still just was like, it seems very bizarre, but.
I do recall that it was like, oh, he was kind of friends with the janitor, and the janitor showed up. I mean, again, an older adult giving children keys to rooms they shouldn't be going to.
Inappropriate, but also not in the movie. Like,
yes.
At least if they had the dad and the son argue at the beginning when he's drinking his egg smoothie. It wasn't even a smoothie. It was just an egg and orange juice. I don't know. It was so
raw
bizarre.
egg and orange
It
juice.
looked
I'm
so
still
gross.
So
It was like
gross.
frothy.
Froth.
Oh, yeah.
So gross. I don't know. I think that opening scene is more harrowing as is.
Cold German
Cold
dad
German.
being like, you have to get over your dead mother.
You can't even open this
drink your
jar
orange
of
juice.
jam. You weakling! Are you going to join the swim team or not, Bastion? I mean, that was even more. That was too aggressive. He was just like, so
couldn't
have
even
you tried
join
out
the
for the swim
Yeah.
team, Bastion? There was so much going on
Under
the surface of that scene.
Yeah.
I think that's why it's such a good movie to watch high, because there's always like your brain
Details.
just like, and then you forget what's going on because you're just looking at
But
something
it doesn't
else.
matter because the scene is still happening. That's the great thing.
Oh my
The
god!
scene
Especially that
with
scene when
him
he
with the
first gets to
telescope
that
is
like the Egyptian place where they like shoot the laser beams at him.
So
Yeah.
When he's like
So
laying
long.
on the ground looking up, I swear that scene went on for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
If you want to save our world, you must hurry.
Billy Crystal and Carol Kane were there for, I don't know, 45 minutes being like, this is how you're going to get through the maze.
Oh my God, that's right. Get on with it.
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
Now, if Terry Gilliam was involved with this movie, I mean, it looks like he was. I mean, the visuals are so amazing, but that would have been something.
Yeah.
Because it's amazing to think this wasn't Jim Henson.
Yeah,
It's
right.
obviously influenced.
Yeah.
but,
Right,
like, it
right,
wasn't
but it wasn't.
them directly. Yeah, it's so good. I want to go ride Falkor.
I mean, honestly, I get it as a kid. Why? Like, and then I think that's why Falkor, to me, even though he seems very creepy now,
Yes.
like, you still have that, like, there's something friendly about him.
Yes.
And, like, as a child, he was, like, just the best.
Iconic.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's the soft spot.
Oh, yeah.
Forever.
I just remember as a kid just wanting to like take a nap on his back. Just
Yes.
like so cool.
Thank you so much for joining us to talk about this. I really love that it came together.
I know.
That you inspired this moment.
I'm excited.
I'm so excited to be here. Like I said, I'm a huge fan.
Likewise.
Yes, likewise.
Can't wait to see more puppets. I like that we have so many guests that are.
We are really.
I love my license plate says Kermit.
Oh.
Like that's how big. I actually, before I decided to make the dragon myself, I reached out to the Jim Henson Company. They were gonna make it for me, but it was going to be very expensive.
I'm sure.
And they said it would take like 8 to 12 weeks to make. And I'm like, I have a month. So
right.
So, next time.
That's awesome though. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's really cool. Like, I love that.
I even got a hold of them, but
yeah,
I was like, cool. I mean, that's good to know for future projects because that's been one of my dreams to work with them on something. Like to just have like a Jim Henson puppet.
Oh my god.
That's like a dream for me.
That would be such a dream.
That would be really cool.
I want to go rewatch the Muppet movies.
We've been starting from the beginning and working our way forward, and it's very fun.
I want to retro review Great Muppet Caper because
it's great.
It's my favorite.
Yes.
It's got the most fashion.
What were we just? Oh, someone said there was a tweet that was like Muppet Pride and Prejudice, and I was very on board.
Yes, would watch.
Would watch
for sure.
Yes.
Would watch. Yes.
I would watch anything with the Muppets in it.
Honestly.
Now I'm like casting it in my head. I'm like, okay, Miss Piggy is, I guess, Elizabeth.
She has to be because they fall in love. But someone said that she should be Mrs. Bennett, which I would like. But she's not worried about her daughters getting married.
She's not worried about it.
She is
looking for a husband.
And prejudicial.
Yes. And Kermit can be very
he can be
shy and reserved.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
And Gonzo's Bingley.
Yes, of course.
I'm trying to think of who would be Jane. Anyway, it would be great.
Janet.
Janet. Yeah, Elizabeth, don't worry about it. Everything's great.
I'm just so pretty.
I'm so pretty. Look at my blonde hair. Yeah. I'm excited about this prospect.
Yeah. Well, cheers again. Thank you for
Yes.
joining us. And hopefully we'll find something to do fun in the future.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Cool. Well, cheers.
Cheers. Yeah.
Look at what you see.